Hey there everyone, my name is Monkey Shepherd from the Guys Who Play Games, back with some more Donkey Kong Country 3, and can I just say how much I love this song? It is so relaxing to listen to, it's kind of incredible. Really, Evelyn just, love this soundtrack. Anyways, cool little feature you can do after you've beaten any world, well, not any world because it's actually really inconsistent, but you can enter through the boss level and just leave. It's really inconsistent for some reason. You can only do it, I think, what is it? World 2, 3, and 5 you can leave. And there's another one, but it's not after the boss, technically. So, you know, we'll get to it when we get to it. Anyways, since we got that patch last time instead of a bonus coin, which is kind of weird if you're not used to it, but yeah, the patch actually does in fact do something. Who'da thunk? So, a la, rub-a-dub-tub, we're getting a new tub. A la RPG, I guess. RPG mechanics, if you want to call it that. We upgrade our transport. Instead of a crappy little motorboat, we get a hovercraft now. Which is, that's cool, I guess. Can still honk the horn. And the main thing that the hovercraft can do is it can go over rocks. So, I guess that's cool. You can go over to this area that you can only swim in before. Which is kind of cool. Woo! Anyways, let's go into this cave and break open the birds. You know the drill. Concave. I'm gonna go quiet to make sure I know what's going on here. X, B, A. Well, that was easy. Nice. Anyways. So, this expenditure into the next couple worlds actually is kind of interesting because it's unlocks 2 worlds at the same time, which is the only time this happens. Even though there's a prime opportunity for it later, but we'll get to it. Technically, the water one over here is World 3, so I'll do that one first. Scottandelle Cove. But I mean, if you really want to, you can do any of these levels at any time. In fact, there's actually another world we can open up right now, but I'm going to save that for much later. Wink wink, nudge nudge, hint hint. Anyways, Scottandelle Cove, as you can guess, is a big old water world. And, right off the bat, we get to see Blue's little beach hut here. You can walk inside and we get some really chill, jazzy music. And we got Blue here, who's got a bit of a stutter. Can you imagine, even in this game, you walk into this dude and he's just complaining that all he gets is bills in the mail? Yeah, that guy will do something later, but for now, he's just some sad guy who doesn't get any birthday cards. Anyways, Bounty Bay. Kitty's having a bit of a hard time there. He's kind of just like walking on the water there. Anyways, focusing time. It's all these easy ones. It's really weird. I shouldn't complain because what's going to end up happening is the last one I'm going to do, which is like, I forget how many it is. I think it's like, you have to remember like 10 or 12 or something like that. And it's like, it's really easy to mess that one up. And if you get like a complicated order, it's just like impossible. Anyways, as is the water world, we start up with a water level. The first of its kind. And oh boy, does this really introduce things. Listen to that music. Like, when I talk about Donkey Kong Country 3's soundtrack being moody and ambient, like, this is the song I think of every time. Like, man, this is, like, such a song. It really gets the atmosphere going. It's, like, the first game's water song is, like, got, like, a strong melody to it. It's peaceful to listen to. And then the second game has, like, that epic Lockjaw Saga song. But this game is, like, on a whole, like, different level. You've got a song that really feels like you're like really deep in like the ocean. Even though we're just in a lake, but whatever. Anyways, this bonus level is all about these, this whole level is about these weird, I think they're called Barracudas. Which is funny that they're named after Barracudas. The whole level is based on these dudes. They just kind of come out of these holes and go into another hole. They're a pretty straightforward enemy, but like, I mean, they're basically like they work more as like a respawning hazard more than anything. Because obviously, like, anything in here? No. Just the fact that they keep on coming means that they're quite a bit different than most enemies. Whoop! Don't hit that guy. Anyways, you notice this hole here. Well, obviously, this game loves hidden items, so you can walk in here for a double coin bonanza. Sure. So, obviously, the secret behind this level is don't rush. Just take your time. Wait till after the Barracudas go, and you go after them. Who'da thunk? Don't touch enemy. Good. Get a nice mix of going up and down, which is pretty nice, because I don't think there's really that many instances in the second game when you really have to worry about going down off the top of my head. So it's nice that we have this. Anyways, we got this little thing here. Although you'll notice that the timing is pretty much like impossible. You can tank a hit, go over there, but that's not intentional. And for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here. You're going to see there's a little hole here with a red cocoa that kind of goes back and forth. The main difference between red and green cocos is pretty much the same things as a lot of enemies in the series. The green ones are... Actually, I guess in this case, they're very much like red and green Koopas from Mario. Green ones kind of just go in one direction, and then the red ones kind of go in like a pattern. Obviously, that's not the same because red ones just flip around at edges, but in this game, in this series, alternate colors have like a pattern of movement. Anyways, we're end guard, so that means we can actually kill these guys. Although in this instance, we're not actually killing them, we're just killing cocos that are in the holes for some reason, which is, I don't know, I guess kind of cute. You want to be kind of careful because some of these guys actually go really deep into the holes, so if you're not careful, you'll like dive into the hole and get hit because the hitbox it like takes a long time to come out. And Endguard, like Endguard's hitbox is more generous in this game, but there is still a very brief period when he's reeling back that you can get hit, so you want to be careful about that. Oof. Endguard still has that auto swipe. I never liked that, to be honest. Like, I get why it's there, but it's like it's really annoying to me, to be honest, because it's like I'm trying to follow the Barracuda and all of a sudden he swipes or I'm going down and like Endguard just like swipes automatically, which like actually takes a bit of time. Like it kind of stops him for a little bit, so it's kind of annoying. Anyways, just like the first game, you can't ever, well, actually, just like the second game, though you don't end levels underwater. Instead, you kind of go into this little cave area here. And since obviously you can't throw barrels into water, coin is always at the end of these levels, so you never have to worry about looking for them, which is nice. Found everything, because I'm a beast. Yeah, okay, let's just never say it again. Can I just say how much I appreciate this world map? I like how it's like you've got like the lake up above, kind of funneling down into the lake below. You've got like these waterfalls that look really cool. Funny thing is, as a kid, I always thought like it looks like you can go up there, so I'm always just like looking around. And because I don't remember what it exactly was, but I was missing like a couple of things to get me 100%. So I was always just like, maybe there's a way to get up there. There's something up there. Like, no, there's never any weird hidden levels or anything like that. Anyways, we got another really cool type of, it's not really water level, but it's based on water. There's a big old waterfall in the background. So once again, these levels focus really heavily on vertical movement. And in this case, the gimmick for this game level's vertical movement are these rocket barrels, which you jump at them, they shoot up a bit, and then they kind of just zoom on up and blast you out. And as waterfalls like to do, just like with many levels in this game, pretty much anytime you get to these rocket barrels, it's a good idea to basically ignore it and see what's ahead, because there's usually something to find. A hidden item, or in some cases, a tiny little banana hidden just barely off screen that blasts us to some nice secrets. Whoops. So because Kitty's and Dixie's hitboxes are so different, Kitty can't walk on these, but Dixie can, even though it looks like she should get hit. But her hitbox is just small enough that you can kind of just toddle around. toady about. You know what I mean. And yeah, just like I always say, I love the music in these levels. Really good. Like, this game does the water sort of levels. Like, I keep saying water. It's not a water level, but there is, like... I mean, obviously there's a big waterfall in the background, but you know what I mean. You look it also got that really sweet echo effect whenever you kill something. Whoa. Something I haven't even shown off yet is that when you throw Kitty, he actually like rolls along the ground for like a second instead of just like being like Dixie where you just throw her and she just kind of drops on the ground. This is something I also haven't like made mention of, but you'll notice that the back Kong doesn't like idle anymore. Instead, he just kind of does the same thing that he was doing a second ago. So like if I run, then he just runs forever, and if you walk, he walks forever, and if you jump, he just defaults to walking. And I'm not sure entirely why that's the case, but I believe that in the same vein why Dixie's animation is actually short in this game, I believe it's because this game is just so like jam-packed full of content that there's actually just like they just had to make room for a little bit extra code. But I mean, I have no idea. That's the kind of thing you can't really know without looking at the source code. But it seems believable because this game really is jam-packed. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if the barrels are really laggy for the exact same reason, because like part of like the barrel cannon code maybe had to get edited in order to make room for extra stuff, but I have no idea. Yeah, really simple bonus game. Like, this game starts off in a case where the bonuses are actually really easy, just like the second game, but as you progress further in the game, you'll start to see a lot more nastier bonus games. This game's actually pretty infamous because there's a lot of bonuses in this game that are really difficult. But we'll get to it when we get to it. And yeah, look how many bonus items are in this, like little secret items to find in this level. Like, it's kind of crazy. Anything over here? Probably not, but I might have to check. Oh, I ended up behind the waterfall by accident. Whoopsies. That scared me for a second. I guess it's an excuse to collect those 2 bananas. Hee-ho-ha. Nothing over there. Boom. Yeah, these parts are really easy. You just sit there and wait. Like, they have like different buzz arrangements, but it's literally the same thing every time. Now this is where things get a little interesting. We get our pal Perry the Parallel Bird again. Funny when we get Perry, like, all these animal buddies, like, how many times are we? We haven't even seen all of them yet, though, because one of them is a returning one, and we'll see him later. But for now, the trick with this section is, really, the trick is use Dixie, because she makes it way easier. Like, it's really hard as Kitty, because, like, these jumps are, like, pretty difficult. Thankfully, the things that are behind the waterfall are quite literally behind the waterfall. It's not just a weird graphical effect. So, like, when you're doing that, you know, it's not just like, whatchamacallit, you know, like, weirdo, like, what am I trying to say? Even, the graphics matter. Like, even though they're behind the waterfall, they actually are you know, behind the waterfall. Jeez, that was way harder to say than it should have been. Whoa, yeah. There are some weird, I guess, quirks to the waterfall, though. Anyways, you get to the end here and you get a nice blue balloon, because you can only actually enter and exit the waterfall from certain points. So for example, if I let's example with Dixie here, if I throw Dixie up here and hold left, oh, it actually does work. You throw her. It's interesting. But if you jump, I can't actually, like, you'll notice I just kind of stop and then start accelerating again. You can't like leave from too high up. I believe there's a bonus now over here. Nice. And in the same venue, you can only actually enter the waterfall from like those cliff parts. Although, unlike other ones, it's actually pretty generous in that you can't, even though you can't enter it from too low down, you'll just fly past it. You don't get stuck like you are inside the waterfall, which is, I guess, I guess I shouldn't call it generous. It's more like it makes sense. Anyways, yeah, we already had 25 bonus coins. Ain't that nice? Anyways, yeah, once again, we haven't seen coin here. So there's a barrel here, and if we... Before I do anything, let's just go over here for a sec, make sure everyone's seeing. Okay. So if you jump in this barrel, it kind of shoots you over here, and we can see coins here. Well, what's up with that? So how do you get him? There's nothing to throw off of, because if you throw the wall here, it's not actually a wall, it's just the edge of the level. So as you can probably guess, the trick here is what you want to do is you kind of just throw up, and then you jump in the barrel, and it shoots you really fast, and then bang. There you go. I like how they come up with all these setups for coin. Like, admittedly, they're not exactly, like, super difficult to figure out, so... But, I mean, I don't know. Like, I've seen people have trouble with them, so I guess I can't really say that, can I? Anyways, creeping class. So, if you notice this... You can see, like, this little, like, logs that we're kind of walking over to get to this level. And if you couldn't guess by that, that means that we're on for another Stilt Village level. Whoop-de-doo. Anything in here? No, but you can already see this, balloon here. We can grab for lives. And we got this coin here. And we can accidentally throw that, DK barrel in there. And funny enough, it's actually a bit glitchy because the barrel. So barrels have an animation when they're on like cliff sides and stuff that they'll actually start rolling down. But for some reason, DK barrels actually lack this sprite. So when it does it, it actually like shows like a little glitchy animation for a second, which is kind of funny. It's like they forgot or something. I'm not sure why that happens. Kind of a funky little detail. DK barrels in this game are just weird in general, though, because like I mentioned, I think in the first episode, unlike in other games, DK barrels in this game actually roll when they hit the ground instead of just breaking on contact. So they're basically just upgrades of normal barrels, because you get like a Kong if they break. Anyways, yeah, like I said, I guess I should correct this now. I kept saying vertical climbing in the last episode, but what I really meant is horizontal climbing. But when you're horizontal climbing, they hang off the rope vertically. Like, you can see that Kitty hangs way farther off the rope than Dixie does. Like, he's like almost twice as big. So like, it makes a big difference to be Dixie. That's for sure. And like, the whole gimmick of these levels with these creeping clasps, as it were, is that they just kind of hang back and forth on these ropes. And they're pretty fast enemies, so, you know, you want to be careful. They do work exactly like you expect them to, though. If you touch them, they blow up. And they're not an enemy anymore, obviously, because they're exploded. These green dudes are really weird. They're basically the critter slash clobber, or what are they called in DKC 2? I can't remember. But they're basically like the basic critter, like Kremling of this game, but they're actually really weird, like really uncommon in this game. I think this is actually like the last level they show up in, because this game focuses a lot more on the more advanced Kremlings, which I guess makes sense, but you know. Anyways, you can see this barrel here. If you jump in it shoots you straight to another bonus. Pretty cool. I think this one actually, yeah, has the class. You'll notice this a lot in this game. This game really, in its bonus rooms, does a lot of this, where it's basically just the same challenge 4 times. They basically just like make you do like a short gauntlet of the same challenge, just to really hammer in, to make sure you really know what you're doing. Yeah, so that dude's like those bouncy dudes. I'm not sure if we've seen him yet. I don't remember. But for some reason, there's a version of them that just doesn't bounce, which I guess is supposed to be like a stationary enemy. That's the point. They just kind of go up and down looking all goofy like. The game's lagging here. Like, I love these dudes. They don't even bounce. I think this is one of the few times you even see this version of this enemy too. They look really goofy, like they got their tongue out and everything. They're supposed to bounce, but these ones don't. And it's funny that the first time you see them is the versions that don't bounce. And I don't think you see them ever again. I could be wrong, but I don't know. Let's grab this DK barrel, this metal keg here, and break this guy. So sometimes it can be a bit tricky because if you like throw it, it like goes too high and like doesn't bounce or whatever. So easy way to do it is to just get to the edge of it and just drop it off, and then it'll slowly roll. let's also get up here because I believe there's usually something up here. Oh, I'm surprised there's nothing up here. Anyways, I want to point out this interesting little graphic here. So there's like this weird board that's like not lined up properly with the like the ground and stuff. And there's also like this weird chain here. And this is the only time in the game this graphic gets used. It's really strange. Like I get the feeling that they made this graphic, couldn't find anywhere to really use it, and just kind of stuck at the end of this level when they realized they never actually used it. Because it does look pretty cool. Like it's like in the like foreground and everything, so it like blocks you. And it's just strange because it never gets used anywhere else. I mean, it's not like it's like super advanced or anything. It's basically just a ramp, but just less rampy. I feel like every time I walk into Swanky Shite Show, I'm actually Kitty, even though I'm usually beating levels as Dixie. So I'm gonna go in here and switch so you can actually see her set of animations. I feel like that's the case, but I could be wrong, but whatever. Anyways, today we're gonna play the endurance game. The endurance game. Oh, the longer you last, the bigger the prize. So maybe this does get you big prizes if you last long. I'm not sure, but anyways. So as you can guess by the name, this one's interesting because instead of being a score challenge, the goal is to literally just never make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you lose. And Cranky is really good in this one. He doesn't make a mistake typically for a while. He'll make a mistake when like he's far away basically, but otherwise it's like you just kind of keep going. And it's actually good that it's like that because like he says, you get more stuff the longer you last. But I mean, ultimately it kind of comes down to luck because funny enough, you want Cranky to do better because otherwise you just get kind of nothing. At least I assume so because I don't remember at all. But this is a good chance to hear the whole song though, which is nice. Oh, and then randomly Cranky just gave up. And then he walks off because he's gonna go talk to his lawyer. We actually lasted 60 seconds. That's really interesting. I don't think I've ever lasted that long, so do I get more? No, it's the exact same prize. So, Swanky's full of it. He's a complete liar. Maybe you get more if you last longer, but I have no idea. I remember getting more if you last longer, but I mean, that was obviously to the contrary. Maybe it's the consolation prize if you lose is bigger if you last longer. I have no idea. That would make sense. Because I think if you lose, you get like 2 banana bunches and a single coin. So like you only ever actually have to lose 1 coin at most. Like you pay 2 coins and you're guaranteed a coin back. So like it's a really good like investment. Anyways, let's start with this kitty here. I love the palette for this waterfall level. It looks really nice. It's got like it's very brownish, but it's like a really nice shade of brown with like some weird like planty purples and like green among it all. So as the last level's gimmick was barrels that go up and down, this level's gimmick is barrels that follow you left to right. Who'd have thunk, you know? Anyways, I haven't even mentioned these crumple. They're called crumple. They're just a weird name. I guess it's because they crumple under Kitty's weight. Or something, I don't know. As you can guess, they're basically the crunches slash crushes of this game where... I believe if you... Ooh! I'm not sure if there's actually any indication of this, but like if you kind of like float off here for a sec as Dixie, you can see the bananas that lead to this bonus game. It's a pretty hard one to find because of that. Like your best indication is that there's a whole waterfall and it only really shows you the very edge. But yeah, it's definitely one of the more cryptic ones in this game. What was I talking about? Yeah, they're the... Get that star, jeez. I'm blanking here. I guess I'll mention that with these types of games, it's actually really easy to play as Kitty, because his bigger hitbox actually comes in handy. He has an easier time collecting stars. So that's like a good tip, I'd say. Gotta have a bit of a tricky jump here for the letter O. Whoa, jeez. Anyways, let's be careful here. Hiccups. Oof. Jeez, these hiccups are messing with my brain. I can't think. So I'm gonna... Oh, dang it. Okay, I want to try to get something here. There's a really hidden thing here. It's really hard to get this. What you have to do is kind of like... damn it. You can kind of see what I'm showing. You can roll down here and get it. It's a triple balloon, and what you're supposed to do to get it, this is really cool, I think. You have to kind of like just do that. There you go. That's what you're supposed to do to get that. And in order to get that, you have to kind of like, you can't just like hang out the edge of the thing. You have to like accelerate under it, because otherwise you won't make it. And here's another cool thing. So we've got our third Ellie barrel already, but unlike the first two, this one is not intended to be mandatory. It's actually optional, and you can go through the level without using Ellie. But, I mean, it's fun to play as the ammo buddies, and like, it's easier in this case. This is one of the few levels where Ellie really is just like better than the comms. Because she can jump off stuff just like Kitty, because, you know, she's an elephant. And also, she can suck water from the things, so you can shoot the Ellie into the... You can shoot her water into the bees. Jeez. Can't talk. Although, it seems to be based... As you can see here, the water meter is actually gone in this place, and you can't suck up water. So it seems to be some sort of weird, like, level data thing instead of, like, the tile set or anything. So, like, sometimes you just can't suck up water. Anyways, yeah. Whoa! It's really useful for these guys because Ellie can't roll, so you really want to, like, blow water into them. And I don't mean like that. Roar. So, like, an interesting little behavior with Ellie is that, if you shoot water, you drop, like, you lose all your vertical momentum, and even if you don't have any water, pressing A automatically causes Ellie to drop. So you better believe there's ROM, I've seen a ROM hack where they actually make use of that, where you have to constantly be doing that, otherwise you'll blast into these, as they're called, buzzsaws, which is, you know, an awesome name. It's actually really fun to try to do this level pacifist as Ellie, because Ellie has a slightly bigger hitbox, but not being able to like actually hurt them kind of changes things up. Boop. Shoot that guy. Funny enough, the water that you shoot also does not stay. So like, if I'm outside the waterfall and I shoot, it doesn't go into the waterfall. So be real careful here. We get one barrel here. If you screw this up, you have to redo the level. So the idea here is you want to just kind of throw it softly at that wall, and there you go. The thing with these walls is that even though they're walls, they're actually like angled walls, kind of like you've seen in like older games. So like if you throw the barrel at like a weird angle and it goes too fast, it'll actually go above that wall, and you kind of get screwed out of the thing. So we get this last little section here where you don't get to use the buzzes, or you don't get to shoot the buzzes. Kind of a cool little thing here that you won't know if you never screw up. But there's actually ground down here to land on. It's essentially like a little safety thing. There's nothing down here, but if you fall down here, it'll blast you right back up. Right into the barrel again. So, if you somehow fall, which I don't know how you would, like, the easiest way to fall would be, like, if you're, like, doing this and you, like, just barely miss here, and you're going really fast, but, like, honestly, I'm not sure how you would fall there without trying. It's one of those things where they were just extra safe there for some reason, even though there's really no need for it. Anyways, we get to another little water area, and there's actually rocks blocking the path. Even though there's nothing blocking the staircase over there, it's just, you just can't go on the stairs until you beat this level. Kind of a weird thing with these levels, but, I mean, what are you gonna do? Anyways, Fast Food Frenzy. This is a very interesting level. The gimmick here is that we actually have a fish with us. The same fish, in fact, that was eating us in earlier levels if we tried to go in the water. I didn't actually show it off, but he's basically the equivalent of Snapjaw from DKC 2, where he's basically just a water hazard. And the trick here with this level is that he wants to eat stuff to stay happy. If you stay too long without eating, he'll turn purple, and eventually he will turn red. And then he'll turn a dark shade of red, and he'll actually bite you. Which obviously hurts you. eating the lurchins actually makes them angry. Because, you know, I guess because it's spiky. But you want to eat the cocos. But, just because you're not supposed to necessarily eat the lurchins, that doesn't mean... Like, obviously, like, it just turns them a little angry. Like, you basically get 3 chances, and each chance also gets used up when there's more time. And you get more chances back when you eat cocos. It's actually useful in a lot of cases to eat the lurchins, because obviously, if he eats them, they can't hurt, you know, Diddy and Kitty anymore. Or Dixie and Kitty. Why do I keep saying Diddy? I'm just used to saying Diddy and Dixie still. Anyways, yeah. So be careful of the lurchins. You don't have to eat them. It's not like it's the end of the world if you eat them, but it's still like, I mean, if you can avoid them, if they're not doing anything, it's like you might as well not bother. You know what I mean? I want to say there's something up here. Yeah. Yeah. So this level is basically all about making, like, besides the proper, like, swimming well, it also really matters which direction you're facing. So, like, if you want him to eat something to the right of you, you want to turn to the left. Because he always goes behind you. So, like, it's kind of an interesting thing where you have to, like, be careful of the way you're facing and be careful of how you're swimming. So if you don't want him to get eaten by a lurchin, you want to basically quickly do a little flippy-roo, and then wait till I get down here, and then you swap around. And then you're, you know, no problem. You can also, obviously, as you're seeing here, you're using him to deal with hazards as well. But sometimes, if you're a little too fast like that, he's pretty eager to eat stuff, as you can guess, so if you're even just kind of close to them, they tend to kind of lunge for the enemy and eat them, even if you don't want them to. So you want to be careful about that. And like once he's kind of going towards the enemy, unless you go really far away, even if you're like turning around, like he doesn't really like listen to you anymore. So you want to be real careful of that. Whoop. Thankfully though, as you can see, this level is pretty generous with the amount of fish we get. Usually like there's like a double group of fish. Oh shit! Thankfully, like they're a bit generous with the hitbox. Like if he goes off screen, he'll eat the fish, like normal fish usually, but like if he goes off screen with the lurchins, he'll actually like kind of just like not eat them. Like you can say like he was eating those cocos way off screen, but like with lurchins he'll actually like flip around and eventually just kind of ignore them. Anyways, with this last little urchin here, if you get him to eat this one, there's actually a bonus up here. I don't believe there's anything on any of the other holes. So, your best indication of this bonus is that it's the very last one. Obviously, if you really want to, you can just look in each hole. But, like, that takes forever. It's actually one of the longer bonuses in the game. You can see it's another one of those legendary 40-second ones. But, unlike other ones, this one's kind of overly generous with the time. Because you can see we're already pretty much done. Like, they could have given us, like 30 seconds easy. So I'm not sure why they gave you so much time for this one, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, the end of the level, so we go into this little thing. This sign here is purely graphical, but it's a cute little sign anyways. Because obviously, like, it's not like if you're hanging out by that sign, he's not going to eat you. It's just telling you he can't go on land, which, I mean, duh. He's a fish. And, yeah, as you can see here, Coin's hitbox does in fact... Like, you can't actually hit him on the head because he's got the metal helmet, so you do in fact have to kind of throw it to hit his back instead of just the tail. Like, it does in fact matter. Who'd have thought? Whoops. Let me see something here. Can you do this? I forget if you can. Ugh, nope. Does not go high enough. I want to try something here. Ooh, if you're a kitty, you can jump across. Yay! Look at that! Rope disappears behind the thing, but my hand doesn't. Therefore, I am grabbing onto nothing. Ain't that cute? And yeah, upon beating this level, we get access to our pal Squirt here. Squirt's Showdown. And wouldn't you know it, Squirt's Showdown is yet another case where you immediately transform into Ellie. And this is an interesting case where it's very much like, it's a lot like Belcha from earlier, in that the main hazard here is not getting hurt, but instead it's like getting like pushed off the level and dying instantly. So whether you have 1 Kong or 2 here, it doesn't actually matter. It'll always just be a matter of don't get pushed off by our pal Squirk here. Funny enough, this boss level is actually really easy. So easy, in fact, that the Game Boy Advance port actually makes this guy a lot harder because he shoots out like more complicated patterns of water and is a lot faster. And it was hard enough, in fact, that Kid Me actually got stuck at this boss for a while in the Game Boy Advance port. Which is funny because, like I said, this version of the boss is pathetically easy. Like, you can see, like, we're already done. That's it. He shoots out water 3 times, and each time it just, like the first time he does 1 loop, the second time he does 2 loops, and the third loop is just 2 loops, but slightly faster. It's really weird, to be honest. So before we end things off, we're going to do a couple of things here. First of all, we're going to check out Bramble here. We can't do anything with Bramble yet, but we can at least see what he's all about. He is Bramble, the famed botanist. Are you related to Bramble's Scramble, or, you know, those blast barrels? He loves plants. They're so beautiful. Don't you think that picture reminds him of them? I think if you come back in, he'll mention, it actually talks to specifically what you need to do. The most beautiful flowers used to grow here, but then they died when those awful machines came. And you can see there that World 4 down there is a machine world. Mechanos, I think is what it's called, right? Yeah. Let me see one other thing. I forget, like, basically, you want to kind of, I think you want to kind of come down here to Blunder and kind of come back here occasionally and you'll have new stuff to say. Oh, he did say something new, but I didn't read it. Well, that's fine. You can see it. Actually, will he say something different if I come back in? So you've got this far, have you? Big deal. You haven't even found the Lost World yet, and that's on the main map. Doe, I've done that. Yeah. So basically, every time you beat a world, I believe, he'll mention more and more information about how to get to the Lost World. First time he just mentions that it exists, and the second time, he's now mentioned that it's on the main world somewhere. And we do actually have access to the Lost World right now, but I'd like to show off all his dialogue if possible, because I very rarely see people actually show it off. Like, usually what happens is you walk over there right away, and then you come back at like the end of the game to get more information. And I don't believe he'll tell you everything then. But since we're here, I might as well save over here, because I want to show off a couple little funny things too over here. So if you park over here and then come in here to Funky while we're parking his boat over here, and obviously we don't have his boat. So what happens if we walk in here? Funky immediately kicks us out and says bogus docking Kongs, because he's worried that Bazaar is going to park it on the rocks. Which means, obviously that's happened before. Pretty funny. Do we have enough money? We do, I think, but I'm actually going to wait for later, because I want to do all the money spending at once. Just really make that money fly. So, for now, we're just going to go ahead and end it off here. This is Brian from the Guys of Big Games. Monkey Shrapnel from the Guys of Big Games. You want to change your name? Oh, I misheard. You want to save your game. Anyways, yeah. 38%. That's it for this part. We will see you guys later. You notice, before I guess I'll say this, we have a ski. That's supposed to be a ski instead of a bonus coin. Most of the bosses actually give items to upgrade your vehicle. So I think, which one's it? It's the first world boss gives you a coin. And World 5 and 6 also both give you coins. And then the rest of the bosses give you stuff. Actually, I guess the final boss gives you a coin too. I guess that's actually in the majority that give you coins. But it's kind of interesting that it's not consistent. Which I kind of appreciate, that at least part of this game isn't super, like, just like... I guess the word I was looking for all this time is streamlined. Funny thing is, though, that ski, I swear to God, maybe it's just me, and because I'm a weird kid, but I always thought it was like a croissant. Because, you know, I'm a kid and I'm weird. Anyways, see you guys later.